Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. We have a lot of exclusive bikes usually here, but today's bike trumps all of them in terms of price and, well, exclusivity. This is the Turbo Creo SL in the highest end Founders Edition build with just 250 units sold worldwide, so really quite special. And what this is, some of you have already asked on my Instagram what this bike is. It's not a regular road bike, it's a pedal assisted road bike which Specialized have launched recently with their own unique motor and completely integrated design, which basically blows the competition out of the water. As you can see, it's super sleek, and if you remove the range extender right there, you can barely see that it's an e-bike in fact. And weighing in at basically 12 kilos without the range extender, it's really something else. Now, granted, you don't get the full 500 watt assistance like you would get with a Bosch motor, but on a road bike I don't really think that's the point. Anyway, we have this one here in a size extra large. Let's have a look at the build and what this bike is like. So obviously at this price point you get a full carbon frame, which is specifically designed for this bike obviously. And it kind of reminds me of all the tarmacs a little bit. There are no aero parts. Not that you would need them with e-bike assistance, of course. It's more stiffness to weight. But I'm sure that aero optimized models will come later on in the pipeline. So let's start at the front. This is a part that's shared with the Roubaix. So you get the FutureShock 2 lockable suspension system, which takes the edge off hits at the handlebar, and it is fully lockable, or you can adjust it really soft for a really cushy ride. The neat feature of the Future stem is that it uses the same mount for computers that you find on the Venge stem also, and it's a super neat system because pretty widely adjustable. You can fit a wide array of computers, all of the inserts are included, so very nice. Then you get full carbon S-Works handlebar. This is a size 44 for the extra large frame, so that's perfectly normal. Then if you go down to the group set and the wheels, the group set is what is nowadays called as a mullet group, although not from SRAM, which honestly at this price point I would expect SRAM red axis, a mullet group. This is a Dura-Ace Di2 operated levers and brakes and rotors. Then we have an XTR mountain bike rear mac 11 speed with an XTR 11 to 40 cassette. Up front is a Praxis e-bike chain set with carbon crank arms. I have already fitted Dura-Ace pedals on there, and there's a 44 tooth or 42 maybe front sprocket. I don't know if there's actually any ratio between the crank and the drive unit and the whole drivetrain, like in a Bosch model, for example. So I can't really speak about if this is a very tall or a very low range gearing. So hard to say, but I'll take the bike for a spin and then we'll see a bit more. Wheels are a bit interesting because on the top they look like regular Roval CLX 50s, which are shod in the Hell of the North Turbo Cotton tires, 28mm for extra comfort, really good fit and beautifully matched with the gold details on the frame, which actually on this frame is real gold leaf, so be careful when trying to preserve that. You also get gold anodized through axles as a neat little detail. And one thing that's unique to this bike, and well, not unique, but more and more e-bikes, road e-bikes, start to use it. It actually uses boost hub spacing, which you normally find on mountain bikes only. So if you have this bike and a couple of other road disc brake bikes, unfortunately you can't swap the wheels, which is a bit of a shame, but anyway, this is what it is. I guess the extra stiffness is needed to cope with the e-bike loads. Then we have also gold leaf stickers on the wheels, just to signify the, well, exclusivity of this bike. With this one and also the S-Works models, you get an additional battery pack that fits into the bottle cage called the range extender. And it neatly plugs right here into the charging port with this little extension cable, which ends here and is secured by this little rubber wrap. Yeah, if you go further down, as you can see, obviously much chunkier area of the down tube and the bottom bracket due to the motor, but not super chunky. The down tube, of course, houses the battery, which is fully integrated, not removable as far as I know. The bike actually is quite versatile because it's compatible with electronic and mechanical drivetrains, and you can fit fender mounts, and it also has a ton and ton of clearance for tires, both front and rear, because there's also a gravel version of this bike called the Turbo Creo SL Evo, and it uses exactly the same frame. Again, boost spacing on the rear, same tire, and same 160 rotors, front and rear, again from the race. This is the little plaque that signifies the limited edition nature of this bike. Of course, you get regular S-Works and lower spec versions, which don't come with the fancy paint job, which in person is just beautiful. It's something you'll find on luxury cars only. I haven't seen it something like this on a bike just yet. Yeah, then you of course get to the motor itself, which is really very special, very light, and it's a own design of Specialized, developed in their Swiss center for e-bikes. It uses a magnesium housing. It's very, very advanced. It comes with a mission control app, which lets you tune your responsiveness, your maximum power output, your resistance. Really quite well thought out system. And it also lets you set the range and automatically adjusts and compensates the level of assistance for that. So very, very clever stuff indeed. What I also find very interesting, of course, this being an e-bike, it needs to have self-awareness of the speed it's actually traveling at. Normally you get bulky speed sensors with ugly magnets put on the spokes, etc. Here the solution is almost invisible because the pickup sensor is housed on the inside of the dropout, and the magnet is actually housed in the lock ring of the rotor. So beautifully done. I couldn't actually find the speed sensor until I read about it on the manual, so very neat. Then again we have the fender mount bosses, which some people will be delighted to hear about. And then if we go up on the perch, this is a classic 27.2 S-Works carbon seat post with an S-Works power saddle, again with the gold detailing. So it's probably not possible to buy this one, so you have to be careful with it. Then on top you have the panel, which lets you have the beast turned on. You can switch between the assistance modes right through here. There are 3 of them. And then we have the status check for the range extender battery. No external display here, although it is available separately. But if you have a regular bike and a regular cycling computer, this thing can transmit all of the data you need into your computer. So of course it has a power meter to help to be able to judge the resistance, but via Ant Plus you can actually send the data over to your Wahoo! And also the mission control app connects with Strava, so can record your rides on its own. Yeah, so overall, very nicely thought out bike. Now let's have a look at the components and the little small parts that come with it. So yeah, the race pedals I've already fitted, those come separately. Here are all the mounts for the out front mount. You can fit anything you like. Then we have the Di2 charger, of course, for the shifting. A neat thing is that if you have the range extender, you also get the range extender cable splitter. So with the charger, you can charge both of the batteries at the same time, which is a nice detail. Not many bikes have that included. Then a couple of small parts, not really anything noteworthy. Here you also get the stock pulley wheels for the rear mech. I forgot to mention that in this edition of the bike you do get ceramic speed aluminum pulley wheels just for extra bling, if the gold leaf wasn't enough already. And then you get a ton of manuals, and that's pretty much it. So really it's a full package. You can't buy this bike as a frame set just yet, but I think if the Levo is available like that, this will probably follow suit. Anyway, do you actually, or does anyone actually need a bike like this? Well, if you're a road bike enthusiast, a fit rider, probably not, but I wouldn't like to hate on this bike, definitely. For this particular owner, it's a toy. It's a fun thing to have, and the best case scenario, or the best use case, I think that if you are an active rider yourself and you have a lot of money, you have one of these, and you have a friend that isn't into cycling yet, you can take him, put him on this bike, and it will enable him to keep up, even though he's much less fit than you, and then maybe he'll get into cycling himself. Or if your other half or friend or brother, anyone from the family needs a bit of an advantage just to be able to keep up with you, so you can do your training regular intensity while he still can enjoy the ride with you, then this is an excellent tool. Also, if someone is older or had an injury, still wants to ride at a reasonable pace, or to be able to hold on to a local group ride and do very strong pulls, in that case, yeah, I think it definitely has its part, and for me it's an excellent demonstration of technology and really impressive stuff. How does it ride? Well, I just took it for a spin here on the street just to set everything up. I've tried other e-bikes before, not e-road bikes, with the Bosch motor and the full 500 watt-hour, sorry, not watt-hour, but watt assistance, you get a sizable kick, and you really feel that. Here, the assistance is much more supple, much more in line with the e-bike, or the road e-bike for that matter. So yeah, really pleasant experience. Obviously, this thing is not really for me. I have no use for it myself, but for the cases I've mentioned, it's excellent. Now, before you comment that the bike is too small for the owner because the seat post is extended all the way, the only reason for that is that it's a new bike, so I have just set it up, and always if I do that, I just set it on the seat post to the minimum insertion, so it doesn't get scratched unnecessarily before it is set up to the rider's saddle height. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the quick overview of the S-Works Turbo Creo SL Founders Edition. If you want to know more about the bikes that I work on or ride myself, then don't forget to tune into the channel later on and subscribe. It's all for the day. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.